Kursk region, Russia. The military is forming a convoy of at least 15 trucks. They feel safe on their territory because the border with Ukraine is still far away. Unexpectedly, a swarm of drones begins to attack them, striking the head and tail of the convoy. The equipment starts burning with thick black smoke. The Russians realize that their vehicles inside the convoy are blocked and could also be destroyed. They drive off the road into the field and disperse. The soldiers try to hide the equipment among the bushes and trees, but where the eagle flies, the hare cannot hide. One by one, the drones start methodically destroying the equipment. This convoy was an important logistical component for the Russian forces in the city of Vovchansk. The key word is was. The Ukrainian military turned the trucks into burning heaps of metal in the field, which will no longer leave Russia. And here is the reason why this operation was successful. Air defense. Here you can see the SA-8 Gecko surface-to-air missile system, which the Russians tried to hide in the trees. However, they failed, and the artillery destroyed the equipment with a precise shot. This other air defense vehicle, the SA-13 Gopher, detected a reconnaissance drone and fired a missile at it, but it missed by a significant distance. At that moment, a kamikaze drone with a shaped charge warhead was already on its way to destroy it. The drone hit the target precisely, causing a detonation, and the vehicle began to burn. These footage are from Belgorod, Russia, near the border, where a HIMARS rocket struck. As a result, the SA-10 Grumble systems were destroyed. As you can see in these photos, the equipment is completely obliterated. Operators of the Special Operations Forces, while working in the Sumy direction, discovered an SA-17 Grizzly surface-to-air missile system. The soldiers deployed a strike drone, which in an instant turned the equipment into a massive, spectacular explosion. The fuel in the missiles loaded on the system started to burn, and thick smoke rose into the air. The Russians tried to extinguish the fire, but they failed and realized they needed to flee. After a while, the remaining ammunition detonated. Just look at that fireworks display. As a result, the launcher loader with 6 missiles was completely destroyed, and the SA-17 Grizzly system vehicle was damaged. I think the operator of this drone definitely deserves a like. Paradoxically, Russian air defense systems cannot protect themselves from Ukrainian missiles and drones. Additionally, there are frequent instances where Russian air defense systems end up destroying themselves. Just look at this footage. No commentary needed. Here's a recent vivid example from the Donetsk region. The Ukrainians launched an MGM-140 ATACMS missile at an SA-21 Growler battery. You are seeing drone footage that captured everything. The battery comprises 4 SA-21 Growler systems and a cheeseboard radar station, with a total value of $625 million. It is claimed that the system is supposed to detect and destroy ballistic missiles within a radius of up to 60 kilometers. The SA-21 Growler systems launched 6 missiles intended to destroy the target. At this moment, at an altitude of approximately 1 kilometer, the MGM-140 missile releases its cluster warhead equipped with submunitions. Another launcher fires, but almost immediately it is hit and detonates. Look at the massive explosions and the detonation of the ammunition. The area of impact is astounding. In this footage, you can see all the launchers burning. And this video, filmed by the Russians on the scene sometime later, shows in more detail what remains of the air defense battery. It is completely destroyed, with charred pieces of metal. Some vehicles are still burning, and nearby lies a piece of the MGM-140 missile and the crater from its impact. Crimea. Russian military infrastructure is under attack. Missiles strike one after another, and you can clearly see the air defense systems futilely attempting to intercept them. The missiles continue to strike as if the air defense systems weren't even there. In an open area, 2 SA-17 Grizzly systems were detected. Each system is worth around $260 million. The Ukrainian military delivered 2 precise strikes. the systems began to burn and detonate. Most likely, the Russians did not expect this equipment to be targeted. Otherwise, they would have at least tried to hide it in the nearby tree line. This is a fairly rare Arctic SA-15 Gauntlet air defense system, worth about $50–60 million. Using a drone, the Ukrainian military targets it and fires a high-precision M982 Excalibur shell. A fire breaks out. The Russian soldiers try to extinguish the flames with a fire extinguisher but flee, realizing that the target is not yet fully destroyed and a follow-up strike is imminent. Their prediction comes true. The Ukrainians make another shot. The shell lands near the equipment, creating a small moon-like crater visible from the drone. Although the strike was not precise, it forced the Russians to abandon their attempts to extinguish the fire. The blaze eventually engulfed everything, and most importantly, it burned out all the valuable equipment inside, leaving only bare metal. In this footage, an SA-17 Grizzly operates in tandem with a target illumination and missile guidance radar station. They are moving away from their position, but a drone catches up and strikes the SA-17 Grizzly. The radar station meets the same fate. The equipment is burning, and the crew abandons the vehicle and flees as far as possible. The SA-15 Gauntlet in an open area was also destroyed by a precise strike from the Ukrainian military. This SA-13 Gopher air defense system was attempted to be camouflaged in the trees, but the drone sees everything. The equipment was destroyed and continued to burn among the trees. An SA-8 Gecko drives through the ruined streets of Donetsk. A drone is closely observing it. At some point, the Russian soldiers stop and abandon the vehicle in the middle of the road. The drone operator decides they need a fine for traffic violations and sends a kamikaze drone to deliver an explosive ticket directly to the radar station and the launcher. Later, the equipment was towed to the roadside impound lot, where it continued to burn. In this footage, you can see the M142 HIMARS in action. An SA-17 Grizzly paired with a radar station moves into position. A reconnaissance drone tracks them to their location. Once the equipment is in position, HIMARS launches a rocket. The explosion sends everything flying spectacularly in all directions with glowing hot debris. And here is the work of Ukrainian artillery. An SA-17 Grizzly was spotted on combat duty with a full ammunition load. The artillerymen fired a shot, hitting the target precisely. The equipment exploded, causing one of its missiles to detonate and fly off on a random trajectory. A strong fire ensued, and amid the thick smoke, it was clear that this SA-17 Grizzly is unlikely to be able to return to combat duty. At this prepared position, an SA-10 Grumble air defense system is stationed. Usually, such systems are covered by SA-22 Greyhound units, but not in this case. Just look at that detonation. This can be described as a nuclear detonation of the SA-15 Gauntlet air defense system. Look at the enormous mushroom cloud rising into the air. SA-8 Gecko. This air defense system was spotted by a drone among the ruins of an industrial site. Most likely, the Russian soldiers noticed they were being watched from the air and decided to relocate the equipment into one of the buildings. This building is industrial, and their structures are usually very sturdy, so deploying M142 HIMARS or artillery is not practical. It was decided to send a drone. The drone navigates through the damaged walls of the building where the SA-8 Gecko is located and strikes. In the reconnaissance footage, a lot of smoke can be seen coming from the building, so the mission can be considered successful. Although the Russians have a decreasing number of various types of air defense systems, they still have them in sufficient quantities. An important part that works together with the ADCs is the radar stations. Ukrainian forces are also systematically destroying them in various ways. Even long-range radar stations, such as the Voronezh DM located in the territory of the Russian Federation, have been attacked by Ukrainian drones. You can see the aftermath in the photos. Additionally, in Crimea, the Russian long-range radar detection complex Nebo was hit. The cost of such a complex reaches $100 million. Perhaps this is simply the destruction of expensive targets, or maybe it is preparation for the arrival of F-16 aircraft, which Ukrainian pilots will receive soon. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And now, let's return to the battlefield. In the middle of a field stands an SA-8 Gecko. In the blink of an eye, this air defense system is struck by an artillery shell. There's literally nothing left of the equipment. Take a closer look. It's truly a heap of scrap metal. An SA-10 Grumble stands defenseless near a forested area. The drone operator takes advantage of this situation, delivering a precise strike that puts it out of commission. The crew of the SA-8 Gecko is unaware that they are being watched by Ukrainian forces. The vehicle moves into a densely vegetated area. The Russian soldiers think they have successfully camouflaged the equipment. Indeed, without tracking its movements, it would have been difficult to spot. They leave the vehicle and walk away. A short while later, artillery destroys the air defense system with 2 shots. When the soldiers return, they will find a well-camouflaged heap of useless, charred metal.